call the meeting to order then. Roll call, I guess, is first. Mark. Cicely. Yep. Paul Knudsen.
Rosalie Michael.
You're not here officially. You're just behind the scenes running the camera. Okay. All right. We don't have the minutes from the last meeting, so there's no minutes from the July 12th meeting. As I recall, it wasn't a lot that went on anyway. We just approved the parking variance for the Dollar Tree.
And elected officers.
And elected officers, yeah. Any changes to the agenda? Any changes to the agenda?
Am I supposed to know that?
What's that?
Changes to the agenda.
No, if you had something, this is. when
If
you would
anybody
say-
had something that they wanted to add to the agenda, then this is where they're
Okay.
at. All right. Any old business?
Or do we need to set the agenda?
Oh, do you? You need to vote on it then?
Yeah. I make a motion to approve the agenda as read.
Seconded.
Okay. We have a motion by Mark and a second from Cicely to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. The agenda is set. Didn't realize you needed to do that.
I understand.
Okay, so then we'll move on to old business. Any old business? No old business. All right, we'll move on to new business. I guess we'll dive right into the first one then. Change of use request by Dwight Cothran, representing the Marvin and John Denham property at 200 Church Street. From residential to commercial. Everybody's got a packet in front of them. Any discussion?
Or do we want Mr. Cochran to kind of speak to it? What do you-
Do you got anything you want to say, Dwight?
Well, it's already commercial, and you're changing use from residential to let up there to commercial use in there. You're not rezoning anything, you're just changing
Changing use.
the use of the property.
Yep.
Similar to changing occupancy if it was a commercial building.
Right.
So
So what's it permitted as now?
right now it's zoned, and I put a copy of the zoning map in there. Because this is something that people need to be aware of. With this zoning map, you can see here where Church Street is.
Yep.
And then where Foxhall is, and that is where he's wanting to set up on that piece of property there. It's all colored red. So all of everything that you see red on this zoning map indicates that it's C1, which is central commercial. And typically that is strictly reserved for a downtown area. And the difference of, all right, well, what's the difference from regular commercial and central commercial? And I included a copy, and I know everybody received a binder on the zoning regulations. But this is the Hartsville zoning, and here is what is listed as the C1 zoning, what's allowed. What's the allowed uses? And so in all of these different, under item B, uses permitted, you could scroll down here. You would see that C1 also allows residential use. But, and since now it's not being used as a residence, he'd like to use it as a commercial lot. And so you look and you see here, well, is that defined here under section B? And you'll see that there are restaurants, taverns, things of that nature. So does it fall within this zoning?
So what we're seeing in red is currently C1.
C1.
Okay. And the section that we're talking about this time is on this map here, where,
If you, all right, you can also kind of cross-reference, and this is what I have to do in the office. I have you a picture here of the TN property here, and this is the Tennessee tax map. And it shows what's kind of highlighted in blue. That's the lot that he would like to utilize for his business. And that's on Church and Foxhall. And it's a corner lot. And I don't know if you've driven, the change of use sign is located on the property as we agreed upon through our ordinances.
Well, it says, restaurants and taverns, there, I don't see anything exactly for a food trailer, but wouldn't that be under restaurants and taverns?
It's a food truck, restaurant, food.
Well, I live right close to it. I don't have a problem with it. It's zoned for it.
And another item too that you should also be looking at, okay, now, Mr. Cochran isn't the owner of the property. But we do have permission from the owners of the property, giving him permission to seek approval to conduct his business on that lot.
I'm a little confused as to why this was brought to us.
Because your Board of Zoning Appeals and you, any type of change of use, change of occupancy, anything that is like special exception or changing uses always comes to the Board of Zoning Appeals. It doesn't go through planning.
Okay,
It comes to you guys.
so it's not that planning was against it.
No, not at all.
Okay, now I'm. starting to
You
see-
guys
okay,
are the ones that hear this.
Okay,
Now, Mr. Cochran was kind enough to kind of put together a little diagram of how he's gonna set up his business there, and not that, you know, it was a necessary thing, but it kind of helps give you the vision of why he's wanting to add for the commercial use for the property.
And both of those pieces are included in the red square. So, is that right? On here, so they're both
They're
both
both.
C1.
Mhm. And actually, that large blue square, that is all one parcel. So I know he's got the dotted line there, but I think that's probably like the hedgerows, is that correct?
Dotted line, but there's a retaining wall there, the property kind of divides it in half. I thought I'm not on this, the dotted line, you know, just
Sure,
in case it was two lots, I wasn't sure if it was divided off two lots or not.
no, all one parcel.
is there any concern for like logistics, traffic, or anything like that that we need to analyze?
The only thing I would worry about is parking. I don't know how much parking days would need, but or do you plan on putting gravel or anything? Or?
I can in the back lot, yes. The dealers told me to do what I want, that's what they said, it's not, and, it's more or less told me to do what I need to do. But, I'll say it's gonna be busy probably the first of the month, but I'll back up after that, I'll probably never back off the way it used to be. It won't be as bad. So there might be parking issues, like I said, the first of the month or so. If we're only gonna be open Thursday through Saturday, so there's not gonna be a crowd there all the time.
I'm not saying all of it had to be gravel, but if you could put some gravel,
Right.
back there for. Cause he used to be, right there by the liquor store. If you remember that. I'd make a motion to approve if he would, be agreeing to put some gravel back there for some parking.
Agreed.
Was that a second then?
Yes, like seconded.
Okay, I have a motion from Mark, a second by Cicely, to approve the change in use. As long as he's willing to put a little gravel on the back half for some added parking. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Change of use granted. I do think it falls under item 15. Under B. Cause it's not really a food truck per se, because he doesn't really move it.
Right. It's right. But I think it would fall under.
Let me see, any other discussion topics that anybody wants to talk about? We don't have anyone else from the public here, so guess we don't have anybody to talk. I really don't have anything to report. Does the building inspector have anything you want to talk about?
You probably will be having, some more things come before you. There has been some discussion about sign variances coming forward, so stay tuned, you're probably getting some of that. As well, I know that, people were saying, things were slacking off. Oh, no. Oh, no. A lot of building permits, in fact, it's increasing each month. It needs to buy 1 or 2 permits a month. Which means more inspections, and all of those that were issued, since the first of the year, they're now coming to those different stages where they're ready for inspection, so. And we're in the middle of setting up the permitting software, which will be really nice. It will, be a nice big database rather than an Excel spreadsheet and a pile of folders. So it'll be really nice. It'll be, very easy to go and look and see different parcels if they have like a permit. Things of that nature, and also codes enforcement, property maintenance complaints should be able to see all that type of thing.
Well, if somebody buys a piece of property and parcels it off into 18 lots. I don't know, go up on there. No.
Will show up on, it will, because it will, this software will pull from the GIS map, which the state has, the
Okay.
property viewer, but it's not a quick process.
Okay,
It all has to go through planning, and then once it's recorded, it then goes to the property assessor. That person comes once a month and inputs the data, and then it may be 2 to 3 months before it has visibility in the system.
gotcha.
But
So
it
there
will.
could be a 90-day delay then, something like that. Once in a while.
Now, they would be good.
Would the next step have already been taking place? Like, would there be any need for anyone to be aware of those benchmarks between the stages that they're actually entered in to the database?
As in, will there be notifiers as in, okay, this has now been uploaded, or?
And well, more of my concern was like, if the place was going from residential to commercial, would there be any other formal notifications, or would someone be able to see that on the database without it having to be like 90 days delayed, that something's already happened and it's too late for them to voice their concerns or stuff like that?
If something is going, say for instance, somebody buys a piece of property and they want to have it rezoned, then that all goes to the planning commission. And then rezoning also then goes to the county commission. So it's first presented to planning, they explore it and then they give a recommendation, either a favorable one or an unfavorable one, or no recommendation at all, and then it goes to the county commission for 2 readings. So they have 2 opportunities to
Is
come.
that all prior to it getting into the database though?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Anything else?
I think we should have a vice chair in case
Okay,
you'd like to go on holiday.
that might happen once in a while. We don't have a lot of, this is one of those things where if you're not here, you're it.
You can't say no.
You could draw names out of a hat.
You're secretary,
I think you're a good candidate though, I mean.
so,
I mean, I will, just don't ever not be here,
okay,
I will.
all right, so, you wanna nominate Mark Presley?
Yes, I would like to nominate Mark for vice chair.
I'll second it, and move nomination seats. All those in favor of Mark being vice chair, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Too late, Mark, you're outvoted. I guess you're it. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn. Oh,
Oh, I was just gonna ask you guys, so what would you like to see as far as discussion, training? Have you been able to look at the video? I know 4 hours is a big chunk of time to spend reviewing all of those different videos and everything. Would you be interested maybe in hands-on training, or, having, when we have our meetings, have like a little training session as well?
That would be nice. That would be real nice. Of course, I would still intend to do the videos. That is my, I
Oh,
mean,
I
that's the
understand.
obligation, sure, but the hands-on is a much easier way for me to learn. So that's something. Open,
Yeah,
great.
we can always use more training, so. And I
Gotcha.
watched videos, but. And they were good. I learned a lot, but you can always. Yeah, education is a continual process, never ends.
Great, I know, even like with our ordinances, we're in the process, the codes and zoning is in the process of combining both the Hartsville and the Charleston County ordinance. So into a more manageable and navigable document, so that's gonna be helpful as well, and I think once that happens, I think they're shooting for the end of the year. Then, having some trainings on that too, okay. For when this comes out in a timely fashion, you can start doing research and figure out, okay, now wait a minute, what does this mean and how does this fit? So.
I assume at some point in time, we'll probably come up with something that's a little more contentious than the last two. The last two has been pretty straightforward, kind of hard to have a whole lot of debate about. So,
I'm sure there will be any special exceptions, like. All has to come before the BZA before they can.
Yep.
Locate that business. Or activity on their property. And it'll be coming for you guys.
I have nothing else. If anyone else, no one else has anything, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Second,
Seconded.
motion to adjourn by Mark, seconded by Cicely. We're adjourned.